Today's text is drawn from none other than Toby Ralph, whom you've never heard of, but who is actually a Liberal Party strategist. And Toby has a new economic solution for our times. You'll remember that Craig Emerson, during the great superannuation debate, suggested that the fabulously rich perhaps could pay a little bit extra tax on their superannuation. Now, Toby thinks that's a rotten idea, and he's got his own economic solution to the nation's woes, which is very simple: cull the poor. Yes, get rid of the enormously poor. Just kill the lot of them. Let me tell you exactly what he said. In contrast to the fabulously rich, the enormously poor make very little contribution to society. They consume more than they can contribute, putting tremendous strain on the national budget. A modest cull would strike at the root of our fiscal dilemma. This bold initiative would rid us of indolent students, hapless single mums, lower-order drug dealers, social workers, performance artists, Greenpeace supporters, and the remaining processing personnel in our collapsing yet heavily subsidised manufacturing industry. Now, of course, Toby Ralph was kidding. He was writing, he said, satire, in the style of Jonathan Swift. But it's worth comparing the two to see how very different under the skin they really are. In 1729, Jonathan Swift wrote a satire which he called A Humble Proposal, to relieve the poor of Ireland. They could, he said, sell their children to the rich, who would then eat them. Since this was the height of the famine, it would give the rich something to eat and save the poor feeding their children. A win-win situation. And of course Swift was kidding too, but look, Swift was kidding because he wanted to draw attention to the plight of the poor. He wanted relief for the poor. He wanted something done about it. Now, Mr. Ralph, Toby, if we may call him that, is really coming from the other side. He wants relief for the rich. Let's think the poor can bloody well go and look after themselves. And this, of course, is what we mean by class war. If you say that the poor need supervision, that we should crack down on welfare cheats, that we should get rid of gold bludgers, make sure everybody conforms, now that's not class welfare. That's responsible economic management. But if you suggest the rich should perhaps pay their fair share of taxes, class war, unconscionable, un-Australian, get rid of them all. Because, see, that's the rule about class war. You can only attack the poor, never the rich. And if you attack the rich, of course, well, why bother? Because the rule of the class war is the rich always win. Well, it figures, doesn't it? If they weren't winners, they wouldn't be rich, would they? That's logic. Toby Ralph's anyway. And I'm Mungo McCallum.